Hey guys, what is going on? Welcome to the third episode of Shooting Stars Live. Super excited to bring you guys today Wolves at My Door, aka Jason the Nicest. Jason the Nicest started out as a graphic designer and has made the full-time jump to full-time YouTuber and Twitch streamer. We're going to find out about how he made that jump and also how he built such an awesome community here in this episode of Shooting Stars. Jason, welcome to the show, man. How's it going?
That was an entrance.
Hey,
it was so professional. And 7 o'clock on the dot. It's an honor to be here, dude.
Hey man,
thanks for having me.
It's an honor to bring you in, man. I'm really excited to have you here, and you bring such a unique take on this type of a lifestyle and what you've done in such a short period of time. It's definitely really inspiring, and it's cool to see how much you've grown. But we're really excited to have you here today, man. It means a lot to have you on the show.
It means a lot to me, dude. You're like my hero, dude.
All right, so
and you're rocking the red shirt. Like, how perfect is this,
dude? I have to, man. I gotta dress my best for you, man.
There you go.
It's second to none. All right, so we're gonna jump right into the show, and the first thing we like to start with to kind of warm things up is we like to talk about like 3 trending topics going on in gaming right now that are kind of custom tailored to you. And the first one, I know that you recently been playing Tomb Raider, and I believe you finished it on Twitch. And there was some integration that we haven't seen before in like AAA title like Tomb Raider. How was that? How did that affect your playthrough, and what did you think of that?
Well, honestly, this is like I think this is like one of the first AAA titles I've completed since I've started YouTube and Twitch. Like, for some reason, I just can't get around to like rounding out the story and completing a game. So that's got to say something. I mean, I really enjoyed it. I didn't play any of the newer Tomb Raiders, but growing up, I played Tomb Raider, and it was a ton of fun. It was I'd recommend it for anyone.
Did you end up playing the PC or the Xbox One version? Because is the PC one? It's not out yet, right?
PC.
PC.
Yeah.
Okay.
It actually came out the day I started it.
Okay. Did you do any of the integrations?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Okay, so there were some things like built into Tomb Raider that like you could like have you ever played the game, or have you seen the game Choice Chamber? Have you heard of that?
Yeah, and Twitch can like play with.
Yeah. There was an element of that I know they built in, at least the Xbox One version. I'm not sure if it translated over the PC.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but
I didn't know about that.
But you had mentioned, so I know you play a lot, and we're gonna get into this, but you play like Counter-Strike Go, you play Isaac, you play a lot of engaging games on your stream. Not to say that something like Tomb Raider isn't engaging, but you mentioned that you don't play through a lot of AAA titles from start to finish. Why is that?
Well, I don't know if it's my interest level in story games, and it like takes something to just grab me. And plus, it's crazy to think about. A normal movie's like 2 hours, right? And a normal playthrough's like 10 to 12 hours. So it's like it needs to be pretty interesting to keep you in, and it just never really has. But back to like the interaction standpoint, I think a story game with streaming is like, it doesn't really work as well. For YouTube, I think story games work really well, but you don't like when you're watching movies with your friends, you don't chat it up the whole entire time. You kind of let the story play out in front of you. So it's a little different. I mean, I enjoy doing it on Twitch as well. I just think it's better formatted for something like YouTube.
Got it.
Where people can just sit back and watch and enjoy it because, it just lends itself to that.
Got it. Okay. So the next thing we want to talk about, and this comes off one of your tweets, and recently the closed beta for The Division kind of wrapped up, I believe yesterday, and I saw one of your tweets that said, The Division is just Destiny in New York, and you kind of had a grimace about that. What were your thoughts on that comparison?
I don't know if people misinterpreted that, but basically what I was getting at was I was quoting other people that say that and kind of just giving a reaction to that.
Okay.
It goes back to my biggest pet peeve in the world, which is blanket statements. And that just drives home the blanket statement right there. It's just like you're just minimizing all the work that everybody over at Tom Clancy just did, and just like comparing it to a popular game with a twist. Like, come on. Like, let's grow up. That's basically what I was getting at.
In terms of blanket statements, is there like one that it's in your top 3 that you've heard in relating to a game or to maybe a streamer or a channel that's just like you can't shake it, or that it just drives you nuts?
I don't know if there's one that sticks out. But chat never fails to deliver the blanket statements. But I get so amused by them just because I don't know.
Yeah.
They're insane.
No, makes sense. All right, and then the third trending topic, and you play a lot of Isaac on your channel, both on Twitch and YouTube, and the developers are, Tyrone and Nicholas and Edmund are currently working on, I don't know if they're going to call it the final expansion, but the ability, I believe it's called Afterbirth Plus or Rebirth Plus, where you have the ability to like script and design your own enemies and how they interact, and being a designer yourself. What are your thoughts on that, and do you see yourself messing with that at all?
Well, it's funny that that's coming up now because my thumbnails recently of Isaac have been to play with the pixel art a lot, and like I've been pulling stuff off the Rebirth wiki and like modifying it and like trying to recreate my synergy through pixel art. And I don't really work in pixel art like ever. I've always been intrigued by it, but I'm not very good at it. So yeah, Afterbirth Plus really strikes a chord with me in a good way, where it's like, and not like just not with me, but like I think the community is so much more creative and interesting than that they could do so many things with Afterbirth that I could not even imagine. And as if that game needed any more replayability. I mean, geez.
Well, I mean, you got to give yourself some credit. I would consider you being one of the most creative streamers on Twitch, in the fact that you have that kind of second dimension to you, that you have this talent in graphic design that most people, other streamers and YouTubers, have to farm out or hire. There's nothing wrong with that, but I think that shines through in your production value. And before we kind of jump on to the next part of the interview, you mentioned that you would change your thumbnails. Before, your thumbnails, especially on YouTube for Rebirth, were very branded. Like whenever I saw it popped up in my subscription, I'm like, I know that's Jay. And then you flipped it with like a really bright background, and you said with you're adjusting the characters now.
Yeah.
What made you try that out?
Well, I was getting comfortable with the thumbnails, and I hate being comfortable, and then I'm just like, oh, episode 30, bam, done. And I just hate being stagnant in that sense of design, where it's like, and I like throwing curveballs. Like I like being like, oh, you like those thumbnails that were just constant? Well, now we have this one. And it's so funny because like the first couple episodes, I know it's so silly to talk about thumbnails so much, but the first couple episodes, everyone was like, what are these? These are unprofessional. They're not that great. And then like a couple episodes later, everybody turns around and comes on to them because, certain design is the long con, where other design is like right in your face. Like, this is what it is.
And you mentioned that you said you don't want to stay stagnant from a design perspective. Is that strictly design, or is that also from the back end of YouTube as well? Or is it just straight design for you? Like, you feel if you're not pushing there, then you're not getting better?
I don't know. I don't know if it's a bad thing, but I don't think about the back end of design and like what gets clicks and stuff. Honestly, I mean, the new thumbnails, I don't know if I could tell a huge difference in clicks or anything like that, but I've never really cared about that so much, which might be my downfall on YouTube, but it's just my efforts are put towards what will make people talk. Like, the thing is, like, the thumbnails, I don't care if you hate them. I mean, any press is good press. Like, if you're talking to how bad they are, at least you're talking about something and not just seeing an Isaac episode and being like, oh, all right.
Yeah,
I'd rather that.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, when I noticed it right away, and I'm like, what's Jay up to? And then one of my questions for you, this is strictly personal, has nothing to do with the interview. Are you going to, and I tried to look at, I think, two Azazel ones. Is there any meaning behind the background color of these Isaac thumbnails? Or, like, are you, okay.
Not so much. Sorry to cut you off. But, like, the one Azazel, which I remember, is I had a green brimstone, so I did a green background. But that was literally might have been the only time I connected the two.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
No, you bring up when we're talking about thumbnails, and this is like the type of thing though that like I feel like people would like to know about, because when people see that huge change in your channel and yet they both work really well, like I think people are genuinely interested in that. And like I know you kind of downplay it, but for someone that that likes watching you and that may not have that creative bone or that ability to execute like you do. I mean, I think it's really interesting, and I'm looking forward to digging more into kind of where that creativeness comes from for you on that end.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna jump into the next segment, which is what we like to call Now Playing. So tell us right now what's going on. You have some staples in your channel, but what are you playing now currently?
Well, I just played a little bit of The Witness on my channel, and like we were talking about, I played some Tomb Raider. I'm kind of stuck on The Witness. I have a weird thing with puzzle games, but I'm kind of up in the air about that. I think that game is beautiful, and I really, really enjoy it. Of course, I'm playing Isaac, Counter-Strike, H1Z1. I play a lot at night, off stream, off recording, and what else? Oh, American Truck Simulator. I haven't started it yet, but I'm waiting on my wheel to get here.
Oh, you got the actual wheel? Nice, man.
Yeah. So I'm waiting on that, and then I'm gonna dive into that.
So your off camera game right now is H1Z1?
Mainly, yeah. I'm playing a little Isaac off camera because there's 3 more items I need for 1001%. So I've kind of been grinding those a little bit, which isn't the most fun, but I just want to get it, and then I could just think about other things in Isaac. It's just lingering. So
when you're playing off camera Isaac and you're trying to grind these last 3 items, are you recording in the event that you catch it, or just like I'm just gonna get it off camera and be done with it?
Yep. Yeah, it's down to that point where it's like, I think people will forgive me if I'm literally going in greed mode and just going through devil deal after devil deal trying to get certain items. So it's not like entertaining, and I trust the viewers will believe me that I got it legit,
Yeah, no doubt. And then you said you're going to be experimenting with American Truck Simulator. Where did that desire come from? Because it, like, not that you have like a general fit, but like it's definitely something unique for something that you're bringing to your channel.
Well, that's exactly it. It's completely offbeat. It's the weirdest game ever, I think. You literally just drive a truck around, now the United States, but it used to be Europe. I don't know, man. It just intrigues me. I watch people play it. I'm like, why am I watching this? And 2 hours later, I'm just like, all right, still watching this. But yeah, it should be fun. I don't know. I don't know how much I'm gonna play on Twitch or my channel. All I know is I want to play it. So.
Is it safe to say, or can I assume that we may see a Wolves at My Door trucker hat potentially making a debut?
Potentially. On the new merch store. Right. Yes.
All right, cool. So we're going to jump into the next segment, from merch to getting to know about you. That our segues here are just second to none.
They're on point. They are on point.
Oh, so this is the part in the interview where we really kind of get a look at, how you grew up and where how your upbringing was and your school experience, so we can kind of draw some context from that into how you are today. So, for people who are unfamiliar, where did you grow up? Like, where would you consider your childhood home?
Well, I moved probably like 5 or 6 times growing up, so I never like had a staple of a house because my dad is a contractor. And my mom was a travel agent, and I didn't leave New Jersey. We just traveled a lot and moved a lot. So all in the same town, kind of same area, just different houses. So like when I look back at my childhood, I don't picture one house, It's not like I'm like, oh yeah, that house. But there's definitely a couple that, during like the 12 to 15 years old, like really stick with me because that's your most impressionable ages. But yeah, New Jersey my whole life.
Is there like a specific area of New Jersey, like, Cherry Hill or,
Central
okay.
New Jersey? Yeah. Like semi towards the shore, like 20 minutes from Sandy Hook, which is, 40 minutes from Atlantic City.
Okay. So
right in the middle there.
So I'm guessing you moved around a lot. You changed schools a lot, or were you homeschooled, or what was your schooling situation like?
I actually didn't change schools a lot. I used my aunt's address, so I could stay in the same school. But yeah, I actually switched high schools after my freshman year. I switched high schools to, we have a north and a south of town, and I switched between those. But yeah, I used my aunt's address growing up to stay in the same elementary and middle school because I was moving a lot, and not like far, but like just enough to be out of the school radius. So
got it. So growing up in like grade school and middle school, what was your experience like? Did you get along with people? Were you kind of chill? Yeah. What was how was your school experience before high school?
Before high school, it was all good. Yeah, I got along with everybody. I tried to make friends with everybody, and I never fell victim to cliques or anything. There was never anyone too cool or too lame for me to hang out with and talk to. Okay. I just wanted to get to know some people,
Yeah. As a kid, were you drawn to any sort of specific class, or did you notice yourself excelling in one area versus another?
Well, art, I would think, just because I've always been interested in art. Art and math class, I guess, would be the two I would excel in and enjoyed going to. I enjoyed them both. And I remember I had a carpentry type thing in high school that I loved going to. But other than that, honestly, I wasn't a great student. I was one of the students that was there every day. Like I never cut. I wasn't like that cool guy. But I like my grades weren't great just because I don't know. I struggle with the idea of school. But
Like when you say grade, are you saying like D minuses you're getting through, or you like C?
like C, B kind of student. I just didn't apply myself. And looking back on it, it's like it's one of those things where it's like, wow, why didn't I apply myself? I could have learned so much. But that I think everybody goes through that, you know.
So when you weren't applying yourself, so you'd get home from school, like what would you do instead of like studying or schoolwork, or did you have a job as a young kid, or what did you do?
Through high school I worked the whole entire time I was in high school. So I would go to work often and game. It was basically just working, and I did a lot of graphic design too. Back then, that was like when it first started really growing. Because I would just do show flyers like for all my friends' bands. So it felt like every week I had to design another flyer for another show. You know, that whole thing. Yeah.
You mentioned that art was, one of your favorite classes or, areas of school. Do you remember like an experience involved in art class where you felt like, I mean, I know you would never say this, but felt like you were really good at it? Like you looked at something you created and you're like, wow, this is, you felt like that was what you're supposed to be doing.
I don't know if there's a definitive like piece or anything, but I can remember times in school when they kind of were making, this is dating me a bit, when they were making the transition to like art on a computer. I remember that transition very well, and that's when it kind of clicked with me. I've always been a decent freehand drawer, but I've never like nothing to write home about. Like I wasn't great. I just enjoyed doing it. And then when I got onto a computer, the first time I was on there doing some stuff, I was like, yeah, this is it. Like straight lines, perfect boxes. Like I'm in. I'm totally in. Yeah. But I don't remember a piece that, specifically.
Do you remember what program, like one of your earliest programs that you used, like when you made that connection, like, all right, here's the straight line, here's a tool that does it?
Yeah, it was Photoshop. I forget what version, but some ancient version.
Okay.
Now looking back on it now, it looks comical. But
do you know if you have any of your old digital artwork anywhere, and have you ever shared that with like your community or on social media?
I don't know about that old, but yeah, I have some on my drive that is like pretty embarrassing, especially like the show flyers and stuff. Like they're pretty bad. Like what
would one of the show flyers look like? And you can like even throw out the name of a band.
What would they look like? I was like, well, they were hardcore bands, right? So it was so like cheesy. I would take like a picture of like old time America and have like kids like running around or something, and just like throw it on the flyer and like make it all grungy and gross, and then like write like their sick name across like, I don't know, some ridiculous emo band name and like red blood and stuff.
So that's like the first, I guess you could call like commercial or public work you did.
Yeah.
Or was there something else before that?
No, yeah, I guess so. Like it wouldn't get much more exposure than like getting thrown up on like a wall, like a Dunkin' Donuts or something. But,
then did other bands like come to you, or how did you grow at all like that way, or did you just do that for fun?
Yeah, other bands would come to me. I would charge like $10-15 a flyer. I mean, at that time I was like rolling in the money, like just throwing money out the car, But yeah, bands came to me, and it was pretty good.
That's cool, man.
I always liked getting clients just so I could work, like, because I feel that with a lot of people that design, they always come into my channel like, what should I design or something. And now I just resort to telling them, like make up a brand, make up a business. You see a business down the street, redesign their business. But like then I was like, I didn't know that knowledge, and I was just like, I don't know what to do. And, that helped. It gave me a lot of work and a lot of nonsense to design.
That's interesting that's the advice that you give now, because we're going to get to this, but that's eventually kind of how you got to where you are now, more or less, or maybe the interest started. But before we get into that, you mentioned that you'd worked all throughout high school. Do you remember what your first job was?
I believe it was either the old people's home or Zoomies. It was one of those. They were very close to each other, and I don't know what was the first, but
what did you do at the senior home?
Cooked. like prep work, not like cook, but yeah, we like serve food to all the old timers.
So
It was interesting.
You would like chop up yams and like pass them on to the chef, or what would you do?
Well, yeah, not like prep work, I should say. I guess post work. So they would cook it. We would prepare it on like things and put them on like what are those things called with the little fires under them? Whatever.
The sternos?
Yeah.
Okay.
And then the people would come up on a line and we would just serve.
Were you like
potato?
Were you the type of person that's senior home? Like, were you just like hairnet on, head down, like serving, or were you like, did you interact with the seniors, or what did you do?
Yeah, some interaction. I mean, we had it was me and my friend that were working there at the time, so we were having fun with. Some of the old people were so down to just mess around and have fun.
All right, so you said you worked at a senior home and also Zoomies. For those of us that have no clue what Zoomies is, what was Zoomies? I don't know what it is.
You don't know what Zoomies is?
No.
Okay, yeah, it's still a store. It's like PacSun, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a trendy, clothes streetwear kind of store. But yeah, it was at the mall. And it was the first one that was opening in, I think, New Jersey. And I applied before it was open. It was like, how in the mall sometimes they'll have like the stand outside the closed store. Mm-hmm. It's like, apply here for. So I applied there, and it was during the holidays, and we moved everything into the store. Like, I didn't know that was part of the job when I applied. I thought I was going to be folding clothes, and like we had to move all these shelves in, screw in shelves. It was ridiculous. You would think they would have a labor team for that, but they didn't. But yeah, that was one of my first jobs as well.
Okay, so that was your first experience in retail, and did you work that holiday season?
Mm-hmm.
How was that experience for you?
Yeah, it was jarring just because I was young. I think I was like 17 or something, or 16. But yeah, I was like, it was pretty nuts.
Did they teach you in the store to upsell things? Like, if I was in there shopping for a T-shirt, would you be like, "Hey, this puka shell necklace goes well with that Metallica shirt"? Would you do that, or
yeah,
were you just like?
As well as the puka shell necklace would have went, I wasn't instructed to do that. No.
All right, so then you go on so you're in high school now, you're working, and you said you moved high schools after your freshman year.
Yeah.
What was the catalyst, or what was the reason for that?
Yeah, I wasn't a huge fan of the school I was at, and me and probably like 8 other friends kind of were like, "Yo, let's just go to the other school." I was like, "Why not?" And everyone's like, "All right," and we all went. Me and like 8 of my friends. The first school was just a little too like pretentious kind of feeling. A lot of people out of our tax bracket, but it wasn't bad. It just wasn't for us. We just felt like we fit in better at the other school. We had friends at the other school, so it just felt right. Yeah.
Did you have to do any convincing of the parental units to make the jump, or they were like cool with it from the?
Not on my side. I don't know about my friends or anything, but yeah, and my parents. They're down for whatever.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you make the jump, and then from there on, you had a better experience in high school?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
Yeah, tenfold.
So then, you said that's when you first is that when you first got into Photoshop, or is this? Okay. So you get into. Go ahead.
I would say early in high school is when I first got into Photoshop. Yeah.
Okay. So then, when you found out that you liked it, not only liked it, but you were good at it, did you? Like, was there anywhere in your head that went like, okay, I'm not going to work at Zoomies anymore. I want to try and make a run at this thing? Or like, did you ever think of that as a high school kid?
Not that early.
Mm-hmm.
I thought long term I would love to be a graphic designer, but at the time I was at Zoomies, I was just doing things to get by.
Uh-huh.
I wasn't really thinking that far.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it felt like a real thing I could do because I knew people did it as a job, but yeah, I don't know. I've always wanted to do that. That's the only thing that was ever on my mind.
Okay, so as you wrap up your high school experience, in high school, was Wolves at My Door, were you social? Were you going to like prom and homecoming and that kind of stuff? Or were you like chill and did you not go to those sort of activities?
Yeah, I mean, I think on the surface, I came off as the person that didn't do that kind of stuff, really. But I did. I went to all my proms. They weren't like my thing. Yeah. Like I was never a big partier. I've never, dabbled in that stuff. But yeah, I felt like I had to do it.
All right. Then one last question on high school. What was Jason's high school, like an average high school apparel? Like what would you wear when you went to high school?
Bad. Very bad.
Like what?
Very bad. Well, like the brightest skating shoes that were on the market, first of all. Second of all, I had my lips pierced.
You did?
I had snake bites.
What are snake bites? Right here.
The two.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did those heal over? Like, could you put something in if you needed to, or?
I could force it, but it would probably hurt. I mean, the holes are still visibly there, which actually annoys me. But yeah. And then like a bad like camo hat, backwards. My hair was down to here, blonde.
Like bleach blonde or like
bleach blonde.
Really?
Yeah. What else? All over print hoodies, like Bathing Ape, like just horrendous, like hip hop, like
those were expensive, man. Those hoodies were expensive.
I saved my zoomies, dude. Just paying the big bucks. My graphic design flyers. Yeah, I would save up and buy like a Bathing Ape hoodie, and I'd be like, dude, I got the freaking Bape hoodie, dude. I would strut it like it was the best thing ever, and it was bad. It's bad, dude. Looking back, it's horrendous. But
all right, cool. So you're a senior in high school. You're wearing your Bape hoodie. You got your bright skater shoes on.
Yeah.
And it comes time to graduate. Did you graduate like with ease? Meaning like was it crunch time for you like to get out of high school, or you just like you knew you'd get through?
No, I didn't graduate with ease at all. Yeah, I just got by. I was a C student, but like some classes, I wasn't getting enough credits for each class over the years because I would fail one here and there. Mm-hmm. For lack of applying myself, honestly. But I had a really good relationship with the vice principal at the time. I would get drug tested a lot for falling asleep in school, mm-hmm. and I've always passed with flying colors. So she loved me. She thought I was great because I like never did any of that stuff. Yeah. And we had a bit of a bond, and she definitely pulled some strings at the end there and helped me along.
Yeah, you said you weren't into partying or anything. So was it just random drug tests, or did they like pick?
Well, yeah, it was protocol. If you fell asleep in class or put your head down in class, you would get drug tested.
All right.
So yeah, they would waste $50 every time I fell asleep on a drug test.
So before we go into life after high school, you said, since you weren't really studying and then outside of work, you said you were gaming. Do you remember what were some of your best like gaming experiences as a kid that you remember?
I mean, I would have to go back to Counter-Strike 1.6, I think, and go into like this New York City, and we did a tournament once and all that stuff. We were horrendous. I don't know. We were out of our league, but we did it for the experience and how like it would be fun, and it was fun. I would dial back to that Counter-Strike and probably Madden and stuff with like my cousins and my friends. That's probably the best gaming memories.
So you played CS 1.6 with like your high school buddies? So you went to like a LAN party tournament in New York?
Yeah. Yeah, I live with one of the kids that I actually used to play with. It's been my friend forever, but we went to New York City for a LAN tournament and we got rolled. We won like probably 2 rounds. Rounds, not games. Rounds.
Do you remember the name of the tournament?
I don't know the name. It was just kind of like if you signed up early enough, you got in. It wasn't like you didn't have to qualify, and I think that was the issue. Uh-huh. Our team name was Animosity. I remember that. Okay. We thought we were so
Did
cool.
you do like the spray? You know how you used to be able to spray in Counter-Strike? Did you make a tag for everyone?
Oh yeah. We had like the team Animosity one. It was
What did the tag look like?
I think it was like do you know like the Anarchy A?
Yeah.
It was like that, but it was a play on that, and I was like, that's so cool, dude. Like Anarchy, dude. Punk rock.
I wonder why they got rid of that. That was like one of the best things. You'd kill someone and then you just spray your tag over them.
Yeah, well, I think some of the R-rated imagery is like
probably killed it for everyone.
Yeah, people got to ruin it, dude.
All right, cool. So you graduate high school, and then you had some decisions on the table. Like at this point, were you still working at Zoomies, or were you like doing graphic design? Like you had some side work?
Well, yeah, when I graduated high school, I was doing, just it wasn't anything serious, not enough to be like, hey, I don't have to go to college. But yeah, no, I did some side work and then, just fought with my parents about going to college. They wanted me to go, that whole thing. And I ended up going to a community college for, 2 semesters, before dropping out. But yeah.
What community college did you go to?
Brookdale.
Okay. So you come out of high school, you don't want to go to college, and your parents are saying, hey, you got to go to college. So you
Yeah.
so you complied, and you said you went for 2 years or 2 semesters.
I went for 2 semesters, not years.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when you went to college, kind of against your will, what was that like for you? Did you apply yourself? Did you take art classes? What position did you put yourself in at that community college?
Well, the first semester I dove in and took all the classes, everything that you needed, right? And I didn't apply myself because I didn't want to do it. And I have such issues with like structured facilities and learning, and it doesn't work with me. And it sounds terrible to say, but
no, I don't think. I think maybe. I mean, I say back then. I think it's more accepted now. But I mean, I think there's a lot of people that can relate to you, 100%.
Yeah. It just it never clicked with me, and the fact that I didn't want to do it, and it was not my choice really. Didn't help. But yeah, I did all the main classes, and then the second semester I cut all the main classes, and I was just like, I'll just pay to take some graphic design classes, see if I can excel and learn anything I don't know, because I was all self-taught up to that point. Okay. And ended up going to some of those classes and wasn't for me either.
Really? Were you were you too advanced for it? I mean, not in an arrogant way, but like, were they teaching you stuff?
Yeah. At that time, I've been doing it for like 5 years. And like, I remember distinctly the first class, he literally taught us how to open up a new project. But like, that was the class. He was just like, all right, we're going to learn how to open up a new project. He's like, all right, file, new, this is your dimensions. And like, that was the whole class. And I was like, I don't know about this.
You're like, I'm paying you to teach me something.
Yeah. And then I was like, I'll stick it out. And I stuck it out the whole semester. And at the end of it, I was just like, yeah, no, not for me. And actually the professor kind of was being real with me. And it was like, listen, you're past this point. He's like, you got to either suck it up and, pass these classes to get to the point where you need to be, or just work on your portfolio. So I took his advice and told my parents I wasn't going back to college, and I worked on my portfolio.
How did that conversation go?
Not well. Yeah, no, not well. My parents are really like the most laid back, cool people ever. But they really were sold on the whole idea of me going to college. No one in my family went. They didn't go. Mm-hmm. So they were all just like all on board for it. We'll pay for it. We'll just get it done. And yeah, wasn't for me. But
I forgot to ask you. So are you an only child?
No, I have a sister.
Okay.
She's 10 years older than me.
Okay, older than you. Okay.
Yeah.
So you decide you're not going to college anymore. You're not going. But then you got to do something. So where did you go from there?
All right. Well, back in high school a little bit, I worked Zoomies obviously in freshman year and stuff. But then I locked up the job at Spirits Unlimited, which is the liquor store.
Okay.
And I worked there for 6 years.
In the liquor store.
So all through the end of high school, and then out of high school when I was going to college, those semesters I was still at Spirits doing the liquor store thing. So I always had a job throughout all this. I wasn't just like some schlep. Just
what does the liquor store thing entail? Like, are you like doing lotto tickets? Are you stocking shelves? Are you like
cashier a little bit, but mostly stocking?
Okay.
Like you work beer, you work liquor, you work the cashier.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
I was just stocking.
So you had this job throughout college and throughout some high school. Mm-hmm. So you said you're not a schlep. So you say, all right, I'm not going to school. Your parents aren't exactly on board with that. You're still working at Spirits Unlimited?
Yep.
Okay, and then what? And then like, are you like, okay, I'm cool with like, I'll work here for like the next 10 years, or like, what are you thinking?
Well, I know I didn't want to work there forever, but it was honestly the best job for my age at that time. Like there was not like I was getting paid pretty decently. They wanted me to be a manager. I kept saying like, no, I'm just going to keep doing this because it entails more and the pay isn't that much more. Mm-hmm. My cousin was the manager. 4 or 5 of my friends worked there. It was like best case scenario, best job I could have. So I wasn't rushing to get out so much, which was a little bit of the issue, I think, why it lasted 6 years and not probably 4. But I wasn't rushing to get out. I was doing the graphic thing on the side, and I was just dumb enough, but I was hoping for a break in graphic design. I didn't know what or when it would come, but I knew I didn't want to do stocking, beer for the rest of my life. But I was hoping for a break, and I was like, my work I think is good enough to do something professionally. And I was just doing freelance stuff.
So you're working at Spirits Unlimited. You're doing freelancing on the side. What were some of your like early that you can remember? What were some of your early jobs that you did on the side? Was it like the senior citizen home, like designing their flyers for like their mashed potatoes and peas, or like what were you doing?
Well, there was a lot I was doing just for fun. I remember back in like high school, like late high school, right when I graduated, there was like this Photoshop form, where like they would post a picture and then you would take that picture and Photoshop it, and then someone would Photoshop your picture. It was called like a chain Photoshop or something. Mm-hmm. I did that a lot. Like, and it was one of those things back to the flyers, that I was making. I just was happy to be learning and designing, because the more I was doing it, I was like, oh, the better I'm getting. I was pretty self-aware at times of how good and bad my stuff was. And it was I was seeing progression in that. And then I started getting into logo work. That came later, but as far as professional stuff, those sites that launched, the crowdfunding sites with the logos, they're pretty popular now. Where basically a business would go to a website and say, we're going to pay $600 for a logo. Everybody take your shot. If we like your logo, you get the $600. So basically a bit of a contest, bit of a crowdfunding thing.
So like things like 99 Designs, you're saying you did that before there was 99 Designs? You would go to companies and do that?
It was, there were sites before 99 Designs really took off. And it wasn't oversaturated. And there wasn't business. Now there's businesses in 99 Designs that just, run rampant, and they see a thing and they just throw as many logos in their faces as they can. Before that, it was different. It was independent designers, which I think the site was made for. Mm-hmm. And I won maybe 3 or 4 of those. I made a couple $1,000, and I was like, this is good enough for now, Did
you buy any new Bape hoodies or no?
I was out of the Bape. I was into Jordans after high school. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite pair of Jordans you still have?
I don't have. Well, I have the Kings County Spizikes, which I love Spizikes, the Jordans, and I had the Olympic. Like the big thing I was saving up for was the Olympic Jordans, the all gold Dunks.
Okay.
And I got those. I sold them since, but that was like what I was designing for. I was like, I need these.
Cool. So you're like thousands of dollars saving up to get some gold J's. Hey, look.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it worked for you. So then, all right. So you're winning a few of these like contests pre 99 Designs, and then when did you walk away from Spirits Unlimited to like go full time design, or was that not the next move for you?
Yeah, I went probably like 5 years into Spirits. I was like, I'm done with Spirits. I'm finding a different job, and I got a job at Best Buy, selling TVs, and sold TVs there for a year over Black Friday and the holidays, and then I went back to Spirits for a year.
Did you get commission on those TVs you sold? I always wondered that. No commission.
And that was the worst thing about it, because everyone thought you got commission and you didn't get commission, but everybody took everything that you said with a grain of salt. When I was like, honestly, I don't.
Yeah, like, this is really the best TV.
Yeah, right.
Like,
yeah,
sure it is.
Yeah, I'm sure. But yeah, no commission on that.
Why did you bail on Best Buy and then go back to Spirits? You just missed the glow.
Yeah, it was just that job. Like I was saying, it was perfect for what I was trying to get done. It gave me time to design, and it was very flexible schedule. I could work whenever I wanted, basically. And yeah, Best Buy was very. You
didn't have to wear black pants and a blue tuck-in polo shirt.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
All right, so you go back to Spirits, and then at what point did you, like, say like goodbye to Spirits forever, like that? Like your ex-girlfriend, you break up with it, you're like, delete her from the phone, take her off Facebook, you're never going to see her again. When was that moment?
Hard, dude. It was hard. I shed a tear thinking about it. But, that's when Penguin Random House, which is the graphic design company that I worked for, came around. Basically, my dad was next door neighbors with a guy that worked at Penguin Random House. Mm-hmm. And he did some contracting work on his house, so they kind of, built a little relationship.
Yeah.
And my dad always knew. He was like, hey, like, this guy has a graphic design job. He's an art director, like, in New York City. Like, Dad was always, like, trying to figure out a way to, like, help out. And, he helped out. He shouted my name out to him, and I started to do some commission work for Penguin Random House, which was, they would say, like, here's a book cover. Here's a book that we're working on. See if your cover see what you could do with the cover. If we choose your cover, we'll axe the person that designed it, not axe them as an employee, but their design, and use yours, and you'll get paid. And you get paid kill fees as well. So
can you explain what Penguin Random House is for people that don't know?
Yeah, it's a book publishing company. I initially was hired by Penguin, which is was the biggest book publishing company in the world.
Yeah, I can see their logo in my head. It's like got like an part of
penguin.
orange. Yeah.
Yeah, the orange and the oval and the penguin. That they were the biggest company in the world. And then a year after I was working for them, or maybe 2 years after, they merged with Random House, and Random House was the biggest publisher in North America. So we just had the complete monopoly there after the merge. It was a gigantic company, but
So you get your foot in the door with Penguin Random House. You start getting some are there books out there that you could tell us that we could Google and it's your artwork on the cover?
Yeah. I know Colorblind is one of them. That's one of my favorite books I designed. I designed Elvis and Ginger, which is Ginger Aldine's tell-all book about Elvis. That was my only New York Times bestseller.
That's awesome. I didn't know that you had a New York Times bestseller cover.
I don't think it's credited to my design, but it was, yeah. The book was very popular because it was her tell-all kind of book. She was the last girlfriend Elvis had before he died.
Do you have a copy of that book, or do you have the print framed anywhere anywhere?
I don't know if I have it here. I might.
But that was obviously a huge deal when that happened, right? I mean, you were fired up about it, or were you just
I was excited, but I knew my cover wasn't the reason it was the best New York Times bestseller. So I mean, yeah, I was jazzed about it, but I didn't frame it or anything. And it's something my mom might have it. I don't know.
You didn't sign it over her name underneath for the author.
No, I didn't put it on eBay as artist signed.
All right,
Elvis and Ginger.
So you and I, we've known each other for a little while, and I remember. So you were at one point you were full time. So you went from commission work to full time, and you and I had talked, and you're saying tell us about your commute, to get to what you had to do every day to get to work.
Yeah, it was almost 2 hours each way every day, an hour and a half on a good day. So basically, I would take the train, which is right over here, but at the time I lived in a different town, so I'd have to drive to the train. So I would drive to the train, take the train into Newark, and then take 2 path trains into the city, and then walk to my job. So it was that twice a day, every day for 3 years. Yeah, it was pretty miserable, but the whole time I was like, hey man, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is my career. I'm old, dude. I'm an adult. I need a career. I need a place to go every day, 9 to 5, sit in my office, and I was another one of the zombies on the train. Yeah. Just not without a business suit.
So let me compare high school apparel Jay to Penguin Random House. What would you wear to work, just so people can get a visual of did you have to wear khakis and a button-up shirt? You could do whatever.
Yeah, because it was the art department. Granted, they wanted you to at least wear some sort of collared shirt, but the jeans were fine. At the end of my stay there, I was wearing a sweatshirt and a hat, and I knew at the time when it was fizzling. So I wasn't really wearing I would wear a flannel usually every day and jeans, and that's about it. Yeah, it wasn't anything crazy.
All right, so then take me to, and I don't know if there's one before this, but the first published video on your YouTube channel was March 29th, 2013. And that was, you did something called the Let's Draw of, someone's logo. Was that the first time that you made that jump? And at what point did you, because I jumped over a step. You started designing graphics for people on YouTube, right? Was that your first foray into YouTube?
I don't know if the Let's Draw, that March one, was before my first designed YouTube channel, because I designed a YouTube channel for, I'm sure you know him, Michael A.L. Fox.
Yeah.
Yeah, Foxman. I designed his. I don't know if it was before that date. It probably was right around that date, honestly. But yeah, I can't remember exactly if that was the first.
Okay, so Michael A.L. Fox is a YouTuber, and you decide to do his graphics for him. Where did that come from? Were you watched him on YouTube, and tell me how you thought to do that.
Yeah, well, he played Spelunky, and that's all I watched, and I think it was part of my work downfall because I just watched Spelunky videos all the time. But I would watch him play Spelunky. He would have hour-long episodes just not one after another. And then one day, well, I saw his art on his YouTube, and I was like, I don't know, I'll give it a shot, and I'll try to brand him. And I created this like weird like little fox character with like a cartoon face, kind of like very Adventure Time inspired, where it's like little eyes, little mouth, like derpy looking face. And I took like orange and purple, and I was like, oh, this could be his brand. Had like big bold lettering, and I sent it to him like in a like YouTube comment on one of his videos, like as unprofessional as you can get. I was like, dude, look, please. I was like, this is probably gonna get deleted, but here's a link, you know. And it was like an imager of like, I was like creating like mock-ups, like where, you know, you have the banner, you have the avatar, and like just to make sure they have the whole, you could see the whole look in one picture. And yeah, I remember it got deleted, the comment.
The first time you did it.
Yeah, well, because every link just, I guess, gets deleted, but the content creator could still see it, you know, deleted comments or whatever. And I believe he clicked it and loved it. And then he one day was like, hey, man, can you send me all that stuff, like high res? And I was like, yeah, you know, just whatever.
So,
and then,
so because you're like, you enjoyed his content, you're just like, I'm going to do this.
Yeah, and that's what stemmed from the Let's Draws. Same exact thing. I was a huge fan of like all these people that I was watching on YouTube, and I was like, it's funny because if you look at the Let's Draws, those characters, like the same style, I was drawing those when I was a kid. Like the big head, the small body, the very animated features. I would just draw wrestlers all day as a kid, just like exactly like that. And I wish I could find some of them, because if you lined them up next to each other, like almost South Park cartoon, but like a little too like, you know, detailed to be South Park. It's strange to think about, but yeah, and it evolved into the Let's Draw series.
Who was your favorite wrestler as a kid?
The Rock and Jeff Hardy.
Okay.
Yeah.
I had to ask. All right, so
yeah.
So you do this one for Michael A.L. Fox. Do you remember like feeling like fired up when he like responded? I mean, because at this point you weren't involved in like YouTube and Twitch and all that. Like, do you remember what that was like?
Yeah, no, I was really excited. I mean, I think he had like 30,000 subs at the time, and I was like, dude, that's crazy. Like 30,000 people have the potential to see my artwork right now. That's pretty sweet. And yeah, I was really excited. And I was like, thank you so much for like using it and stuff. And then I think I ended up like talking to him more and, you know, working on thumbnails, and worked on like his Twitch for a while, and we built a pretty good relationship and consider him a friend.
That's awesome. So then from Michael A.L. Fox, after you helped him out with his graphics, then is that how you got the idea to start your Let's Draw series?
Yeah, like I said, it was probably almost cohesive. Like, I was like, oh, I could do fan art for these people, and Michael A.L. Fox noticed it. Maybe other people will, and yeah, that's when I started the Let's Draw, and that eventually led into the whole like BOO break, and yeah, that was.
So let's talk about that. So you're doing Let's Draws, you know, of a lot of different channels, and then tell me about how the BOO connection, like what did you draw for him, and did you YouTube comment him, or how did that work for you? Because that was, you know, we had talked before we started, but you said that was a pivotal moment.
Yeah, that was it basically. So I was doing the Let's Draws honestly just for fun. Like it wasn't like the same thing with like Michael L. Fox where I was like, oh, I'm going to design this page and hopefully he'll use it. It wasn't like that at all. I was literally just, I loved these guys' content. A lot of them were part of a group called Mindcrack, and there were a bunch of Minecrafters that were on the same server. And I was like, oh, I'm going to just design the whole entire team if I can, you know? Not to mention I was doing the Let's Draws at work from Penguin. I was like, I downloaded some stupid free like recorder for the Mac computer at work, and I was like, I'll just do this real quick. And eventually I posted the Let's Draws on the Minecraft subreddit.
Okay.
That's where this is all like really breaks through. I designed almost all the Minecrackers and the BOO one. B-Dubs was always like my favorite, so I did like an alteration on his because he had a different Minecraft skin or whatever. So everybody always liked the BOO one. And then one day he looked at the Reddit. You know, all the Minecrackers did. They always looked at the Reddit, and one day like, I don't know if he tweeted me or messaged me on Reddit. I don't remember exactly what it was, But he was like, oh, can you send me like a 1920 by 1080 of that? I would like to use it as my background on my computer. And I was like, yo, B double O is messaging me right now. And I was like, yeah, of course, whatever. And to this day, he still uses it as a background, which is amazing.
So when he told you, did you like go tweak it and make it even better? Or did you just send him what you
I just left it. I just made sure that it all looked right and the right size and stuff. And then I sent it to him, the full res and all that. And eventually, like, things started snowballing from that point. But that was like the pivotal moment. Like,
so then from there, did you just start like emailing him thumbnails, or like what did it, like just crank it out?
Yeah, actually, kind of.
Like unprovoked, you're just like, here's.
Yeah, because like I remember in between the time where that happened and we really started talking, I remember he was doing like a road to like, what is that, like Prestige or whatever in like Black Ops. Mm-hmm. With like generic B, and I was like, oh dude, like I could use their characters in the thumbnail. I just was like driving home this character thing so bad. I was like, that's my ticket, dude. And like I made these thumbnails with like their characters' faces on it, and like one day he tweeted, he was like, oh, we're starting up the road to whatever. I was like, oh, you could use this as a thumbnail, and I tweeted it to him. I didn't think he ever like looked at it or responded, but yeah, I was kind of knocking out the door a little, like not annoying.
Yeah,
like,
not aggressive.
Yeah. No. I just knew that it was a big opportunity, and if I could, get a hold on it, it would be good.
Cool. So you go from kind of like, all right, so now he's got your artwork on his desktop. You send him some stuff for thumbnails, and you help him with graphics. At what point did you say, all right, I want to go from being a designer to starting to create YouTube content that isn't a Let's Draw, like gameplay or Let's Plays?
Well, then the B-double-O relationship kind of just like got to like another level, and we started dating. I'm just kidding.
You had me. I thought you were going to be like, be friends.
Yeah.
And start.
No, it started snowballing, and one day he was like, hey man, do you do animations? I would love that character you drew to be animated, and be a video intro. And I was like, no, I said yeah. I was like, yeah, of course. Like, I'm the best animator, dude. Completely lied. Stayed up like all night and was just like, how do you animate? How do I use After Effects? And then I stayed up all night that night. I remember it was like a Friday or something. Maybe not all night, till like 6 or something. Just looking up how to animate.
You're like, not all night, all weekend. You didn't sleep.
Yeah. This is I quit my job. But yeah. And then I eventually learned how to animate, and I'd made some horrendous animation. You could actually see it on YouTube. I don't know where. It's one of his Minecraft episodes. But I pulled it off, and it was like good enough for him to use. He loved it, and then after that, a couple weeks went by, and he was like, you want to redesign my whole YouTube? And I was like, yeah. And we started talking on Skype, and then he became a pretty good friend of mine.
Cool. So at this point, you're getting adept at animating. But at what point were you like, okay, so now like you have a friend who's like in the YouTube scene, and you've watched a lot of YouTube. What point do you like, I want to make videos that you have gaming content, not just art? Not that there's anything wrong with just
right. Well, yeah, I started to hang out with B-dubs on like Skype calls and stuff, and we would play Counter-Strike and stuff because he was like getting into it, and I've been playing Counter-Strike. Yeah. And I was like, oh yeah, I could play with you and maybe teach you something. I don't know. And we were playing, and one day he was just like, why don't you record it, or why don't you do this? Why don't you try to make a video out of this? He was like, you have a good voice for it. I think you have the potential. And I was like, coming from him, I was like, yo, maybe I do. Like, he made me a believer, and I was like, I growing up, I was never a public speaker. I was very laid back. I never considered myself like super outgoing, but like I was a little, but not like to the point where I could make a YouTube video and people would care. Yeah. But yeah, he gave me the confidence to try it. And like one day we were playing, and he was like, yeah, you should stream on Twitch, like, and I'll tell Twitter that I'm here. And he did. And I was streaming on Twitch before I knew it, and I don't know, I was just it was weird. And he was like kind of bringing me through it with commentary, trying to help me along, but I was just sitting there, just like I had no idea what to do.
That's awesome. So it really didn't come from like you. Like it's like you were kind of coached to do it or inspired to do it
Yeah.
through your friend.
Yeah, I figured if he said that and he wasn't just like BSing me, then we could have something here. And yeah, I don't know.
That's awesome.
End up working out.
So then you start doing. So you have your first stream, and he's on there with you. And then after that, were you like, okay, I'm really gonna try and do this? Like, so after you, when did you make that decision to go after it and to start like creating content on a regular basis?
Well, he joined me for a bunch of streams. I would probably say like 10 to 12 streams, and like we would do it randomly. There was no schedule. It was just like, oh, I'm home, you're home, let's play. And then I would literally hit start recording like mid game, and we're just here. So we did that for a while, and like I started getting like a decent amount of people. I think it was like 40 to 50, maybe 60 some nights. And I was like, oh, it's just he's tweeting it out, of course, And then like eventually, like maybe 7 or 8 streams in, he stopped tweeting it out. And he would still be playing, and people would still be coming, whatever. And then eventually, one day I was like, hey, I'm just going to do it without him and then, like, see if it works. And it did work for a while. And, like, it was very it worked. I mean that in, like, it worked for a while. Like, I was streaming, but people were like, yo, where's B-dubs? Which was fine. Like, if people were going to come by and see B-dubs, that's one thing. But, like, I knew the moment where I could kind of flip the switch and do it on my own was when that question ceased a little bit. Like, it kind of was just like, wow, like people are just coming back just to like hang out with me. And, B-dubs is like the best. So it's like, I understand people want to see them and like, want to watch them. But it was that was the eye-opening moment where it was like, yo, that's crazy. Like it resonates with other people. Like just me being here playing.
Do you remember what your first solo stream? Do you remember what you played?
Yeah, it was Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike. Okay. So
I didn't stray.
Go ahead.
I didn't stray away from Counter-Strike. Okay. I remember one time I played Hearthstone and I had like 5 people in there, and there were even the 5 people in there were like, dude, you suck. Like, I know, dude. I don't know. I tried like a different game and like it. Yeah, I stuck to Counter-Strike. Up until I started playing Isaac, honestly. Like, Minecraft too. I did stream a little Minecraft.
Got it.
In the beginning, yeah.
So you start solo streaming, and then you're doing this while still working at Penguin Random House, and you're taking a train more or less 3 to 4 hours, round trip, and then you're streaming. How long, at what point, because I'd met you at PAX, and you were growing and growing and growing, and then all of a sudden you're like, hey dude, I'm going full time. Like, at what point did you decide to make that jump? Because that's a huge jump to make.
Oh, it's huge. From
like a solid job to going like full time on Twitch and YouTube. So like, do you remember what was that decision like for you?
Well, I would say right off the bat, it was a quality of life decision more so than anything else. More so than like me being a designer, me being a streamer, financial decision. It was straight up quality of life. Like, my quality of life was terrible, like with everything going on, mainly because of the commute. Secondly, I started really wearing thin on the whole, like, oh, this is great. I have a creative job where I design things, but you can't do this, you can't do this, you can't do this, and you can't do this on your design. That like started to like really like drive me nuts. And like more and more when I would go to work, it was just like every day it was just, I felt like there was more creative restrictions than there was being able to be creative. And like, it just went against everything I ever loved about graphic design and all that. So I started falling out of love with Penguin and the whole corporate office designing thing. And I started to really love the streaming thing. So I was like, I know where my interests lie, but like, I don't know if I could do this financially. And then after a while, it didn't even matter if I could do it one way or another. Honestly, like, I was just so like strung out on the commute and just the whole creative stress thing with Penguin. So yeah, I just pulled the trigger.
And then since then, I mean, it seemed like you're really happy with that decision and where things are. And then I think, I'm not going to speak for you, but one of the things that I find like amazing about you and your channel, and in particular Twitch, is that your community is very inverse to what you see a lot on Twitch. You know, everyone's really welcoming, everyone's like really positive, and everyone's really present. I mean, that obviously speaks to your personality, but are there things that you did to like foster that, or you know, what do you attribute to have such like a close-knit positive community to your channel?
Well, I don't know if I could credit myself, but I do really believe that like whatever a streamer puts out is what they get back. So if I were to put out a positive and, you know, uplifting, hopefully happy stream, it would come back to me in chat. And it always ended up working out that way. I don't think I could credit myself so much. I mean, it's just the people that came together, and, you know, it's credited to the community why the community's great. I don't know if I could take so much credit, but they're the reason I could do this full time. Like I was like talking about like the financial step. I think they made it way more like of an idea to actually do this full time than I could ever dream. But like, I just feel like quality over quantity, not only in streams, not only in graphic design, but like in community as well. Like I could care less if there's thousands and thousands of people. Like if there's 200 people in there and they're amazing, I'd rather that over 1,000 people that are just fair weather. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's funny you say it, because I know whenever I pop in your stream, I can count on seeing people there. Like I can remember names of people there, and they're there all the time. You know, I don't want to call people out, but like Bruins fans and Coos, and you know, there's so many people that you can just, you know, as a passive member of your audience, like it's really cool to see in the community. And I know that you're not going to take any credit for it, but I mean, clearly it starts and ends with you know, in your personality. And how do you deal with like if someone doesn't necessarily fit in the community? Not that people aren't welcome, but say someone from, you know, another channel where it's, you know, trolly or whatever. Like, how do you handle that? Because that doesn't fit your community at all.
It's so organic. It does the job itself. Like they're just like, yo, what is with this? And they know they don't fit. I mean, like it's strange. It's like the chat will like basically tell them without telling them, you know, this is not really the place to be like, you know, doing that. But we have resident trolls. I feel like Koos is a troll, and that's okay. You need some balance in a thing. Like, you know, if it's all happy-go-lucky, I mean, what's the fun in that? I don't mind people coming in and being trolls. You know, I have a very specific look to me with tattoos and like bleached hair that I'm subject to be flamed. You know, and that's fine. Like I'm all for it. You know,
like
need some balance.
Is that what you'll get? Like someone like a troll will come in and just like hit you with like a random, you know, comment about your appearance, or
like nice dyed hair, loser. Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah, I mean, it's just, but that's what you sign up for, and like all that stuff. Honestly, like, it sounds biased, but like it doesn't bother me. Like, and it also like I wanted to say this before, but it sounds biased for me to say like, oh, quality over quantity, you know, because I feel like I have a quality group of people, but it's not like I have the numbers. It's not like I could choose, so it sounds biased when I say that. But I honestly believe that like I don't care what the numbers are, as long as like I could get by and my quality of life is where I want it to be, and people are enjoying the stream. That's all that matters.
Got it. And a couple of questions here before we kind of wrap up this part of the show. In terms of, you know, how you talk to your family about what you do, how was that explaining that to them? And, you know, is that something they're familiar with, or how did you kind of drop the bomb on them that like, hey, I'm leaving this nice, well-paying job that pays well, but I'm miserable to do this?
Well, I think the good thing about that was it was a slow burn. Like it was a very nice gradient between the two things, you know, like right when I started doing it, you know, I was telling, you know, my mom and dad, like I was like, oh, this thing, you know, it's pretty fun that I'm doing. And that was right when I started like Penguin, or whenever I started streaming, you know? So it was such a slow burn throughout the whole thing that it was like, by the time Penguin was like done with, I was like, hey, remember this thing I've been talking about for 2 years? Like, I'm just going to continue this. So it wasn't like, oh, I'm done with this graphic design job, I'm going to do this video game thing. They knew what was happening the whole time, so the transition was so smooth that it like they were just like, oh, that's awesome, you know. Plus my parents are very, very understanding and, you know, chill.
So they were very supportive of that decision. The Random House Penguin or no?
This is way before that. This is this is before I knew Up from Down, I think. This was back in the day.
Okay.
Probably high school. Yeah, high school is when I did the rap stuff. But I got the pair of grills. So then J Ice Grills turned into J Nice Grills because I actually owned a pair and they were nice.
Okay.
So it turned into J Nice Grills and then J Nice, and then Sir Jason the Nicest, and then Jason the Nicest.
And you mentioned a rap group. What was the name of that rap group and how did that form for you?
I never did any rapping on my own. I never went up on stage by myself. I always cringed at that idea. No.
Well,
but I had the group.
What was the group name?
Oprah's Hook Club.
Hold on 1 second, if you don't mind.
Oh, God. Yeah.
I happen to have a clip from it.
Yeah, this is actually,
I believe this is you coming up. Listen. I really like the song. I'm not trolling you.
All right.
Can you still mouth this part?
I can, but I can't.
I don't need frosted, I was born great. First grade, learned to make the floor shake. And this beat sure to make the doors break. And please get a mic check, just making sure my levels match. Cutting up my shins, only time I ever pedal.
Alright, so
yeah.
What is that like going back to Oprah's Hook Club and listening to that for you?
I don't need frosted, I was born great. That's a line. You just put it down in the books. Sorry, what was the question?
No, the question is like, what is that like hearing that for you? Because I'll tell you, like when you first shared that with me, the song's actually really good. I like it.
Well, to be fair, that was one of our latest things where we kind of had our head on a little straighter. I don't mind that song. I don't. It's cringeworthy to hear yourself do anything, let alone rap. I think rapping is especially for me where I'm not, because I always thought like how uncomfortable would it be to rap on stage, and like I was like, I would be awesome if I could actually do it and like overcome a certain fear. And I don't think I'm a good rapper. I think what we had was fun, and when I hear that, it brings back really good memories. Never bad. But yeah, it's strange. It was my creative, expression at the time.
Is there any chance that we'll ever see that song integrated into your stream anytime soon?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I could never take credit. Like I could never boast about it. No.
I like it. I'm 100% not trolling. When I love the song. I'm not even gonna lie. I mean, there's one part we had to edit out because it's definitely not appropriate, but it wasn't you that dropped that line. Just to clarify that.
Right. Yeah. Well, it's funny you bring that up because if you were to hear the old stuff, you wouldn't be able to play it. It was just so inappropriate. And we just had this idea of like rap music in our head, and we made the full 180 like to that song where we rapped more about what we actually lived and cared about. And I think that's why that song is better. But like the old stuff it was not true. We were saying about we had guns. I've never touched a gun in my life. And
what are you talking about? You're very proficient with the up.
That's fair. But yeah, I think that's why you honestly can truly say that you don't mind that song. It's because we were telling the truth. We were being honest.
Yeah, you're talking about cereal.
I love cereal.
Yeah. All right.
Love it.
So from the interview portion of the show, we're going to jump to something we like to call 21 questions here. And when we get to this part, so basically what it is, I'm going to give you two options, and you just say your preference, the first thing that comes to mind. So it's a rapid fire, like A or B.
Okay.
All right. Yeah. You ready for it?
So ready.
Okay. All right. First one is Isaac or CS:GO.
Wow.
You can't think about it. You can't think about it.
Okay. CS:GO.
Okay. Frosted Flakes or Corn Flakes?
Corn Flakes.
Okay. Best emote, Wolves Dab or Wolves Hype?
Dude, these are so hard. Wolves Dab.
All right, Wolves Dab. XSplit or OBS?
OBS.
Okay.
That changes daily, by the way.
Okay. Kanye West or Biggie?
Come on, dude.
I didn't say this is gonna be easy.
Kanye West.
That's surprising.
I know. It's
given the fact
myself.
that you have a Biggie vinyl on your wall.
I take it back.
You can't. It's too late. It's
right.
it's official.
All right. Kanye.
Next one, YouTube or Twitch?
Twitch.
Okay. Best series: Society of Wolves or Flyboys?
Society of Wolves.
Okay.
R.I.P.
All right. Next question. Would you rather open a knife in CSGO on your first box or sit first row at the Devils game?
Sit first row at the Devils game.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, not even close.
First row at the Devils game or first row at the Royal Rumble?
First row at the Royal Rumble.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. No more iced coffee in your life or no more action figures in your life?
Jeez, dude. No more action figures.
Okay.
That hurts to say.
All right. No more iced coffee in your life. This wasn't on here, but I need to know the answer. No more iced coffee in your life or no more CSGO in your life?
No more CSGO.
Iced coffee more important than action figures and CSGO.
I can't function without it.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm addicted. Full blown.
All right. Next one, Breaking Bad or Lost?
Lost.
Okay.
Very hard one.
Best Lost character, Hurley or Sawyer?
These are so good. Hurley.
Okay. Bob Ross or Piano Improv Man?
Piano improv man.
That's surprising me, being your art background. Okay.
I have certain feelings about Bob Ross.
What are your feelings about Bob Ross?
Well, he's a bit of a one-trick pony.
Okay.
But I think he's good at what he does. And I grew up watching his show, and it inspired me. But looking back on it, everybody's going to be so sad.
Confirmed. Jay hates Bob Ross. All right.
I like him, dude.
All right, next question. Dexter or Walter White?
Walter White.
That's a tough one. You had to think about that for a second.
I had to think about it, but Walter White's the best character in television history. Dexter's close, though.
That's hard to debate. I mean, it's hard. I mean, Walter White's up there, no doubt. All right.
That goes back to that. Like, I think Walter White is a better character than everybody in Lost, but I like Lost better than Breaking Bad.
I could see that because Lost is like the ensemble where Walter.
Yep.
I got you. Okay. Next question: 5-0 clutch in CS:GO, or up headshot through a box?
Clutch.
Really?
Nothing like a clutch, dude.
Okay.
It's a crazy feeling.
All right. PAX East or PAX Prime?
That's a good one. PAX Prime.
Okay. That's surprising given that East is right in your backyard. All right. Work at a publisher the rest of your life, or never see a Devils game ever again, even on television?
Work at a publisher.
Okay.
Yeah. That's just like the worst case scenarios right there.
All right. Orange or red?
Oh, red.
Okay.
Red's favorite color. That's why you were my...
Best thing to come from Twitch, the Wolfpack or Kate Edge?
Kate Edge.
Oh, wow. There's no hesitation in that one.
No.
All right, I see the smile. We may talk about that later. All right. Next
that's terrible. Wolfpack forever, dude. Hold on. I need
Wolfpack
to do something.
instant unsubbed.
I need to do something.
Unsubbed.
There we go. We're good.
All right. In case our audio listeners, Wolves just typed in Wolfpack forever in the chat. All right. Next question. Burn your Biggie vinyl in a fire, or burn your Martin Brodeur limited action figure in a fire?
What was the first? Oh, the vinyl.
Yeah.
The vinyl.
Okay. And
They both have sentimental value, so that one's really tough.
Okay. Last question. Tim the Tapman or B-double-O?
B-dubs.
Okay. All right, cool. You did a great job, man. I think we got a chance to learn a lot about you in that moment.
Wolfpack hates me, dude. Frick.
All right. We're
I'll burn it for you.
No, you did a great job, man. I promise everyone unsub because you chose your girlfriend over the Wolfpack.
Yeah.
Just joking.
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break right now. When we come back, Jay's going to take some questions from the audience, and then we're going to put Jay through the Shooting Stars Ultimate Challenge. It's kind of like our version of American Gladiators to see how he stacks up against our former competitors and former guests on the show. If Jay is able to score the most amount of points at the end of the season, if his total stands, there is a championship belt on the line, a physical one that will be shipped to you. So there is something on the line besides pride.
Oh my.
All right.
I'm excited.
All right, so don't go anywhere. We'll be back in 3 short minutes, guys. Stick around. Rip.
Rip everything.